Hi friends, and welcome to ScreenVomit, the only movie podcast for normal people. I'm of course your host Kayla, and I do have a guest with me for the ep, but before I get to that, if you like the show, you can follow me on Instagram and everywhere else at ScreenVomit, one word on all of the things. Leave me a rating and review on your podcast app, and I also have a Patreon now, patreon.com/ScreenVomit. And me and the guest today also did a Patreon exclusive episode on a different Christmas movie called Santa Girl. So that's going to be on Patreon. So if you like this one, you'll probably like that one. So check that out. Now the moment you've been waiting for. My guest today is a fellow podcast host of the Not Your Final Girl podcast. She's also a rocker, a solo artist, goes by her name, which is Ariel Dyer. All right, I'm here with Ariel Dyer. What's up?
What's up?
Hell yeah. So I had to have you on specifically at this time of year because I recently found out about a terminal illness that you have.
It is fatal, yeah. It's a tragedy.
A fatal terminal illness. Where you are addicted to Christmas movies, true or false?
It's very true. It's only specifically Christmas rom-coms. That's it. None of this like Santa shit, none of those family films. Gotta be a Christmas rom-com.
Christmas rom-coms, and largely those happen to be straight, which is interesting.
I've seen probably all the gay ones, but they're
all four.
I can count them on one hand. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Although a lot of I've seen several with very interesting queer subtext, let's call it, that refuses to be acknowledged, but yes.
Okay.
This one is not one of them, unfortunately, the one we're going to talk about, so. R.I.P.
No, not queer at all. Yeah. R.I.P. to the gays, a.k.a. us. So where does this obsession come from for you? Or where does it start? What gets you into being this way?
It started like 3 years ago, I think. So it's not even like a lifetime, right? I contracted it recently, I guess. I don't know. Like things were just, it started with like, what the hell? Here it is. Let's put it on, right? And then I couldn't stop. Like it was the most baffling shit I'd ever seen in my life. I had to know more, and so then I just started watching, and I started looking for like the worst, like the worst of the worst, which I feel like I've learned a lot more from filmmaking, about filmmaking from these like the worst Christmas rom-coms.
Interesting.
Yeah, because you'll understand, like literally I say shit now that I'm like, oh, the soundtrack is turned up very high on this one. Like I just noticed like weird, or like, oh wow, the sound guy didn't show up that day because I can hear like what sounds like skateboarding in the same room. Like
it's like when you see a film done so badly after watching good films, you say, oh, this is what went wrong.
Yes.
That wasn't happening in the good films that I saw.
It's like the opposite of that. Have you ever heard the thing where it's like, this is probably unfortunately very like evangelical thing to even say, but I feel like in church they would always say the thing about like how, real money, like bank tellers you're only handling real money, so the counterfeits, like, because they don't feel like real money. So I just do the opposite, where I'm just handling the shit so that I can tell. But it's weird because somewhere along the way it became some sort of genuine love. Like, I truly love these horrible movies. And if there are, like, ones that aren't horrible enough. And those ones I get upset at because they're not...
They piss you off.
Yeah, they're not interesting enough. Like, there's nothing to hold on to and kind of... discuss.
So you're interested in their flaws. Sort of flaws are beautiful.
There you go. It's a very like positive, reclaiming. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I sort of have a similar affliction to, or like I'm drawn towards like indie movies that are say pretty low budget, pretty DIY, like a lot of things not very polished, let's say.
I feel like that's so it's more noble though, because I feel like often with indie films it's people who are truly trying to put a story out there, and this is like the nemesis of that. This is like no one is like, oh my God, finally my story is told. This Christmas rom-com is out in the world, you know?
It's like chaotic good and chaotic evil or something.
Yes. Like two sides of the same coin or something. Because it's a whole industry, right? Like they crank this shit out. Like I know, like there's certain production companies where I'm like, yes, this is the exact, like they always produce the trashiest ones. My favorite production company. And you know, they just crank out like hundreds of these every year.
They're cranking it day and night.
Yeah, exactly. Just nonstop. Like there's ones where I swear to God, I'm like, that's the same set. Like that is the same set.
I was, we'll have to get into it, but I was thinking they have to be like reusing a lot of the stuff that's going on in these sets.
It's like it's kind of like the Roger Corman. Like these films are like the Roger Corman of the rom-com world, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So let's talk about the movie that you've picked for today, and which is the 2020 film, Lifetime movie, in fact, Dear Christmas, which is a name so boring that I have to look it up every single time I want to tell anybody
It's so hard to remember any of these names. Yes.
Yeah. So I actually have like kind of a lot going on for the cast here. I have like a big chunk of notes around cast and crew, in fact.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
Which is kind of unique. So obviously this is starring, I don't know why I said obviously, Melissa, if you haven't seen it. This stars Melissa Joan Hart. And you know what? It is almost obvious because she's kind of made like a second life career of making corny Lifetime and Hallmark holiday movies. Yeah. It's kind of her new thing. I mean, she's literally done dozens of them now, I think. Okay, so everybody knows who she is, right? Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Ever heard of it? And then the love interest, of course, played by Jason Priestley, famous for 90210. Her dad, played by Ed Begley Jr., who, did you know this? He has 329 acting credits on IMDb.
No, what the fuck? No.
That is like fucked up.
That man, wow. Good job, bud.
Putting in work, okay? Although he was absolutely clocking in and clocking out for this one.
100%. Literally, I was watching it, I'm like, damn, someone's like feeding him lines scene by scene. This guy does not give a shit.
I know him best from Veronica Mars. He's also on Arrested Development. And you know what? He was on an ep of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as well. So they have a connection there. And in fact, I think most of the cast has a connection to Melissa Joan Hart specifically. Robin Givens, who plays her boss, is in Riverdale currently. They also, her and Melissa Joan Hart, also previously worked together on a movie called God's Not Dead 2.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay.
And then Faith Prince, who plays Melissa Joan Hart's mom in this, was on Melissa and Joey, the show, with Joey Lawrence and Melissa Joan Hart. So they all kind of have a little connection. This movie was produced by Melissa Joan Hart and her mom, Paula Hart. They co-produced this with their company Heartbreak Films.
Oh, God. Okay.
Heart imagery comes in the film a lot as well. And then one last note on the crew of this movie. This was written by a screenwriting duo who also wrote 2 other Christmas movies that star Melissa Joan Hart, A Very Nutty Christmas and Christmas Reservations. And they are both screenwriting professors at Syracuse University and SUNY Oswego in New York. So I think knowing that they are screenwriting professors is interesting once we start breaking down the movie.
They know those conventions, right? They just plug and play. Wow.
Okay, and then for critic scores, there are none. I don't understand. This is not on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or literally anything. So there are no critic scores to even say. It's not even up for like Google review from Google users.
Is that usual for Christmas films? Understand. I'm not actually sure. Is that like a thing where people just avoid these Christmas rom-coms?
I don't know because I haven't done a Christmas film for the pod, but I will say I've never come across a movie that wasn't up for some sort of critic score. There's actually not even an actual trailer for this. There's just a Lifetime promo. So let's watch the promo and then we can get into it.
Dear Christmas, this is Natalie Morgan. I'll be live streaming from my childhood home.
November 27th.
What's the new special episode going to be about? True love at Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, hello. Keep running into this guy I went to middle school with.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You sound pretty sure of that.
Pretty sure.
Melissa Joan Hart, Jason Priestley, and Ed Begley Jr.
This is the best Christmas ever.
Dear Christmas premieres Friday, November 27th.
All right, so this is a movie about a podcaster. Podcasting, we acknowledge, is cringe. But what's more cringe, watching a movie about a podcaster or listening to two podcasters talk about a movie about a podcaster?
It's becoming so meta. It's becoming so extremely... like, how many reflections in the mirror are we going to be? It's an Inception moment for sure.
I had to bring in the pros for this one. A fellow podcaster.
Yeah.
Only we know.
This incredibly authentic experience of podcasting that this movie provides. Yes.
So authentic. Oh my God. So we have to talk about her podcast. Her podcast, it's called Holiday Love. She's doing a series. She does a series apparently for each holiday of the year.
I'm sorry. It's like the most like, I literally want to jump off a cliff. Like, I can't. Can you imagine?
Kind of destroying the wall between what is true love and what is normal love.
That's literally a delineation in the film, by the way, that she painstakingly explains to someone who asks her.
Yeah. And so not only is that the premise of her podcast and, unfortunate titles, but this podcast is the number one podcast in America.
I was hoping you would touch on that.
Podcast of the year.
Yes.
She has custom headphones with her logo printed on the sides of them.
I mean, you don't?
Okay.
Hello?
You know what? I actually should, because I used to work for a place that did that.
God.
Why did I not do that, dummy?
Hello?
Literally idiot. The whole scenario of this, it's so fucking crazy. Oh, and then, so she's doing her little podcast or whatever, and who walks in but her boss? Not only is it her boss, but it's her boss dressed head to toe as a goddamn elf.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very Christmas.
And everything in this podcast studio seems to be like Christmas trees and let's go sit in a sleigh and wrap presents right now at work. Like, what is happening here?
That's one of my favorite conventions of these is that in every Christmas rom-com, every place that's visited is like so aggressively Christmas. Like, you'll go to like, I've seen ones where like they go to a convenience store and Christmas is like everything's garlands. Like, you can't even get fucking products. It's just like everywhere.
All of the labels are conveniently hidden by
yes,
garlands.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Heaven forbid. Yes.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yes. So the workplace, yes, this workplace is very Christmas friendly, but I guess fuck every other holiday that would happen in December. Yes. Only Christmas.
Only Christmas. Also, I gotta say, and you hate to say, but you think Melissa Joan Hart had some fillers going on?
You know what? We do have to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, and
it's the elephant in the room.
There was a lot. Okay, my favorite part though is that I mean, people can do whatever they want. It's just sometimes you're like, oh wow, something happened. Someone didn't do it right. And this, unfortunately, seemed to have happened.
You're like, something has gone wrong.
Yeah, something has gone horribly right. But, we do see, like, a weird cardboard cutout of her later on in the film. And hilariously, it's like a, like, Melissa Joan Hart of, like, a decade ago, probably.
So is, I think, her Instagram profile picture.
Okay.
It's like 15 years ago.
So she probably, on some level, acknowledges, then, that this is not...
Yeah.
Yes, it's unfortunate.
Poor little fella, bless her heart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird too, and you hate to scrutinize women aging in Hollywood. No. Okay, I have to acknowledge that you hate to do it. But you know what I was thinking? Because I've been watching Melissa Joan Hart for I think literally my entire life. Like, because Clarissa Explains It All was one of my favorite shows as a young child, and, you know, then Sabrina, etc., on and on. It's weird to watch someone who's almost your age or that you've kind of grown up with start to age.
Yeah, that is weird. I thought it's upsetting because, yeah, you're seeing it. You're like, this is, I guess, me now. This is me now.
Reflecting on myself and...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
a little panic sets in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think I kind of looked up to her when we were younger. Because she was always just kind of quirky and goofy. And, like, not a lot of, especially women, and especially in the times when we were, like, younger or growing up or coming of age, were allowed to have that space, you know?
Yeah, she was definitely, like, iconic. I mean... I remember watching Clarissa Explains It All, and I don't know. She just has that vibe. She still actually has... I mean, this movie is god-awful, but she still has that vibe. And it's actually kind of a fun little return. You're like, aw, Melissa Joan Hart.
She's still in there. She's absolutely still in there.
Yes.
But just as a quirky, goofy little kid who, yeah, I don't know, was just a strange one, too. It was nice to have that person also represented on screen for me.
Totally.
And you know what? I rewatched through all of Sabrina like a year ago, and it holds up. Sometimes hilarious as hell how kind of actually it doesn't hold up, but... or it's just so specifically like of its era, you know?
Yes.
At certain times.
I need to rewatch. Man, I have not. So now I'm curious.
Shit keeps me giggling. What a great show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Melissa Joan Hart, I think King. I was kind of worried, you know what? Let's be honest. We're just going to
get it all out there.
Absolutely break down Melissa Joan Hart's life and what we think of it. I was kind of worried that maybe she was like super Republican for a while, and that was that thought was absolutely 100% placed on or based on what she named her children.
Oh God, wait, what did she name her children? Oh no.
Her kids' names are Tucker, Mason, and Braden.
Woo, that's rough.
And as a blonde woman with 3 children named Tucker, Mason, and Braden, do you not get Republican vibes? Just from those 2 facts?
I mean, 100%. I 100% do, yes.
But I just watched some of her Instagram, and I don't know. She might be all right. I don't know. She was giving me not Republican vibes.
I get very, like, again, this might not necessitate, like, one thing doesn't necessitate the other, but I also get very, like, Christian vibes, which...
And that could be related, yeah.
That could be related, and sometimes that's a thing that I don't love to see. But I mean, that's another thing though, is a lot of these Christmas rom-coms are very family friendly, and a lot of people are some of them are outright Christian, and a lot of them are loved.
Some of them are alt-right Christian.
Yeah, oh God. Alt-right Christian rom-com. Oh no.
Write that script.
Wow, I'm afraid. I have fear now.
I know, I'm tense. Okay. All right, let's get back on track here.
All right.
It was my fault that we were off track, by the way.
We wanted to do a little deep dive into Melissa Joan Hart.
We had to pop off. Okay, so where were we? So her elf boss helps her wrap Christmas presents in the office. But, okay, so quote unquote helps, but she just sits there and says, "What's this? Who's this for?"
Yes.
Okay, next thing. What's this? Who's this for?
Exposition.
Like, doesn't actually do any rapping at all. But yeah, we get some exposition. Okay, so that was her last day in the office before she goes to her parents for the holidays. And you know what's one thing? I just thought of this right now, but one thing that almost always happens in Christmas movies that I've seen, and probably you can confirm, is that they go to wherever they're going, their family, you know, usually, for like an indeterminate amount of time. Like you can never tell how long they're there, but it could be like a month. It could be like several weeks. Like we're not really sure.
Honestly.
But it seems like a lot of time.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, they just kind of take time off. And like they're not I mean, it's funny because, like, work usually plays heavily into, like, some of these plots. So it's like, how are you able to take time off from...
Yeah.
You're, like, a high-powered career exec or whatever. So, like, why are you taking time off? Yeah, totally. She just does it. I mean, I guess she's a podcaster. She can do it anywhere. She doesn't have to do it from her fancy office that we all have as podcasters.
But here's another thing. She has to, like, produce an ep the next day. She has the #1 podcast in America and she self-produces?
I don't know. I mean, well, and she's going to live stream. She says that she's going to live stream from her childhood home, she calls it. Mm-hmm. You know how mad I would be as her family that she would, like, bring that shit into the house? I'd be like, you need to keep that holiday love bullshit away from us.
If there's one thing a family respects, it's a podcaster. If there's one job your family thinks is real.
her family, who are, by the way, her parents are both investment bankers. So we know why she was able to fuck off and have the world's #1 podcast or whatever.
Oh my God. At some point in the movie, she goes, I didn't grow up rich or anything.
Okay.
But then you see her fucking house is a goddamn castle.
It's a literal castle. Her parents are investment bankers that have bought a bookstore on a whim and are just casually running it. The kitchen is like the size of like my old apartment, you know, like, come on, what are we doing?
It is hilarious. Okay, so she's on her way to her parents when she blows a tire. This is important. And she keeps calling. Her sister seems to be calling like every 30 seconds, even though it's like a 25-hour drive.
Yeah.
Saying, where are you? Where are you? I don't know why she's driving in the first place. She's rich. She could have flown. Mm-hmm. But she blows a tire when she's very close, I guess. And everyone that's calling her, her elf boss, everybody has been like, so are you dating? Are you gonna date? You should be dating. Like, why aren't you dating? I don't really understand what you're doing if you're not dating.
Her boss calls it, she asks if she has a hometown honey.
Okay, goals. So when she blows this tire and she has to call like the AAA guy or whatever, or roadside assistance, I guess, non-branded.
Yes.
The brand was covered with the tinsel. Yeah. When he gets there and he opens his pickup truck door, you get like I always think of the Cruella de Vil song music, but like that you know, like
yes.
Like one leg with his like straight leg jeans and a boot like coming out of the door.
And it's like slow motion, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You know? To see like, you know, a pretty normal looking like 50-year-old man get out of the car to that music in slow motion was so stupid.
Okay, that's the thing is this one, no disrespect to this man who, as I understand it, was like a total hunk back in the day or whatever.
He was.
If you look him up.
And you know what? Women his age probably still think he's a hunk, but we're much younger, so we're allowed to say he's old.
But okay, some people age differently. This man, if you look at a side-by-side of like eyebrows for days, looking hot, in his 20s, and then now you would not ever have mistaken them for the same human. Like, it is shocking.
No. You know what? I was like, I got a vague like ghost of like, does that guy look kind of familiar? Nope, not familiar to me at all. And then I looked up who it was and I was like, what the fuck? You know? Like, I did not realize that it was Jason Priestley this whole time. Yeah, he looks like a man like wearing flannels and throwing axes in the woods or something. He does not look like, you know, 90210's hunk.
So that's unusual because a lot of times the movies have a lead that is, even if they're older, they're kind of like, they look conventionally attractive, but like something went wrong in the factory. So like everything's kind of there. It's just not, it doesn't sit right. You know? This is so mean. I'm being so mean. But
no, I love it. It's hilarious.
But the thing is that it's, you know, that's what it is. I don't know what else to say. But this guy doesn't even look like that. That's the thing. It just kind of looks like a schlubby man, you know?
Yeah, he just looks so, I don't know.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, just normal. That's the thing. I don't want to like disparage. The guy looks normal. Like I'm not like a superstar, you know?
No, he looks normal, but that for like being in a movie,
yes,
that's
yes, exactly.
weird. And not only for being in a movie, but also being like Cruella de Vil music playing when you're getting out of the truck. Like you expect a little bit more, you know?
I mean, yes.
Are you insinuating just like any old guy could date Melissa Joan Hart? Okay, she's a king.
Excuse you, back up.
We protect her. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that was hilarious. Also funny is that his truck is decked out in Christmas lights. They have Christmas lighted. I thought the budget for Christmas lights
never
on
ending.
This movie,
Just
I mean, the budget for the movie is what, $25 million? Okay, $24 million of that went to Christmas
I bet
lights.
they just take them down after every scene and they just restring them up in the new fucking set. They're like, all right, bring out the Christmas
Maybe so.
light.
Or are they like, oh yeah, we got to get the Christmas light truck out of storage. It's like already ready. They're just a warehouse full of stuff covered in Christmas lights already that you can pull from when you want.
Yeah.
That's probably true. But I did think it was funny that he decked out his truck. Also, he brought hot chocolate that she did not watch him make. And she goes in the car and drinks.
Okay, and the way he says it, it sounds like he's speaking to a toddler. He says, why don't you wait in the truck and get some hot cocoa? Like, she's like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
This
man is scary,
okay,
by the way.
Every good Christmas rom-com, you could recut as a horror film. 100%. And this one definitely fits in that.
100%. This man is scary. Not only does he look normal, and that's off-putting, but he brought a strange liquid and forces her to drink it, basically.
And makes her wait in his truck. He probably set something to make her tire pop, obviously.
Yeah. And then when they're leaving, he says, I forget what her name is, but it's like, goodbye, Rachel Madison. I'll see you tomorrow. And she goes, okay, first, number one, how do you know my name? Secondly, you'll see me tomorrow. That's kind of, she doesn't say it's ominous, but like it's kind of ominous, right? She just makes it cute, like, oh, you sound pretty sure about that, or whatever.
She's enamored with her tow truck driver.
But like, it seems more like she's being flirty just because she feels like she's supposed to flirt, rather than that she actually like has any attraction towards this man.
I mean,
because of how bad everyone's roasting her for not having a boyfriend, she's like, "Oh, one boy around me, I better."
Okay, I like this read. I mean, because honestly, there is zero chemistry, but there's always zero chemistry with these. But she's just then. She's obsessed. Like she has, like in the next scene when she talks to her sister about him, and she's like, "Spill all the details about your fucking tow truck driver." What are we doing? This is psychotic. Like but maybe you're right. Maybe she's in this dark world where she only matters with a man. And so she's like literally just living this narrative where the tow truck driver is a man and therefore she must be in love with him.
And I think so. I mean, because later once she gets to her home too, and she starts reading through her diaries, all of her diaries, the only thing that is in them, there are no other words besides like a guy's name with a heart around it. Turn the page, same guy's name with an X through it. Oh, guess I didn't like that guy.
This movie is like middle finger to the Bechdel test. Like it's just, there is no possible way that any scene or any moment is without needing a man. Yes.
Yes. It's like you didn't have any other thought or like something going on or nothing through. She pulls out like
and they're all guys.
Journals.
They're just guys.
Years and years. A guy's name with a heart. Next page, guy's name X'd out. Next page, guy's name with a heart. And it's like, what in the hell? Her whole personality revolves around just like liking a boy or not liking a boy.
And that's why we have Holiday Love, her number one podcast.
Which is all about trying desperately to fall in love, real love, with a boy.
Also around the holidays, which like, I don't know. I feel like that's probably the worst time to fall in love with someone.
I'm like, take a break during the holidays, right?
They're busy. They have family.
Because then like Christmas is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you start dating like right before the holidays to where like you have a little bit built up at the holidays, then it's like, okay, we've been dating for like a month. Is that like, do I bring you to Thanksgiving then? Like,
that's honestly worse.
That seems like not enough, you know? Yeah. So it's like you take a break from, September to January or so.
Yeah, exactly. But not this. Not in this movie. It's always around the holidays.
Staying at your mom's house too, you're literally horny, gross. And how do you have time to even think about, they spend a lot of, we'll get to it. I'm so ready to just absolutely pop off about everything in this movie. I'm trying to stay
It's hard to focus, honestly, with movies like this.
It is hard to focus because I just want to pop from one to the next. I have so many pop-offs. So when she's at home, too, we do meet her pregnant sister, who, of course, has a baby due on Christmas Eve.
Absolutely.
Christmas
So that's literally, we've kind of hit, like, 2 deadlines by Christmas, because she has to have her podcast out, but then the baby's kind of a deadline, too. So.
Mm-hmm. Her sister also culturally appropriating a queer haircut.
100%!
Honestly.
Very rude. And she's, like, kind of hot, so yeah, also rude.
Yeah. So. Double rude. For her to have a straight husband, disgusting. Okay, get this girl where she belongs. Ed Begley Jr. we kind of mentioned, but I think it's so funny when every time he appears in the movie, this man, not only is he a legend, I mean, like I said, 300 whatever credits on IMDb, he's a comedian, like he's very funny, he has a great personality, he has a lot to offer to an acting role, and he kind of comes off as just like an Alzheimer's patient, sort of like wandering around this house, like picking up something and putting it down, or just like, it's like, Dad, do you need help getting to the couch kind of vibes?
Somehow he manages a bookstore, but yeah, no, it's troubling.
It is insane the vibe he brings to this movie. I'm like, who is this? Like, does he literally have dementia and is still trying to work? Or like, what is happening here? Because something has gone wrong.
Wild. It's just, like, what is your motivation for making this movie, sir? Like, the paycheck can't be that high. I don't know. I don't understand.
And he's like, I don't know how old he is, but like, he's old enough that like, just rest, like lay down or something, I mean, you don't have to do that. He seems like he's being forced to do this.
He's being held at gunpoint.
You literally don't have to.
Yes.
Like, do something you enjoy instead.
Maybe he's like really good friends with Melissa Joan Hart or something, and he's like, hey, as a personal favor, I will do this for you, but I will not give a shit about it the entire time.
Okay, so when she's at her parents' house too, wakes up in the morning, and who is peeping Tom right into her bedroom window?
It is so creepy. It's so disturbing.
The same man who the day before she had just met and knew her first and last name and said, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, that's the guy.
That's him. That's it.
Straight up peeping Tom into her window, allegedly hanging lights for her parents, because that's what we come to find out is he has many jobs.
Yeah.
In fact, becomes like a almost annoying bit throughout the movie because of the extent of how many jobs he has. And kind of psychotic, like, is he a stalker? I don't know.
He seems to be like he's a clone, like he's a fucking clone or something. Like there's like 10 of him. Like,
dude, think of how sick of a twist that could have been.
It's a hive mind.
If he was a clone.
They share a hive mind.
Oh my god.
And so it's technically one guy, but she realizes there's 10 of him at the end. He's
Borg. That would be insane. That would be so sick. I'm actually in love with that twist.
Yep.
And so before I reveal what his name is.
Oh god, yes.
What I'd like to reveal is what his name was going to be. Initially in the script, his name was Jack, because he's a jack of all trades.
Okay,
so,
all right.
So his name was still relevant to his personality and his character. But what his name actually is...
Oh, God.
I wish there was a drum roll here. Chris Massey.
Chris Massey.
The love interest in a Christmas film name is Chris Massey.
They went there. It's very brave of them, honestly, if you think about it.
What the fuck?
Chris Massey.
Chris Massey. So that's fucked up and stupid. And I gotta say, I don't know if you remember, but earlier I mentioned that the people who wrote the script for this film
professors
teach people how to write like this. Professors, yeah.
Name them something, like, I don't know, Christmassy. It's about Christmas. Get it?
What are names we can think that are related to Christmas?
I hope they teach this film. I hope they just teach their own work.
You know, once we get through it, I really do think that a lot of this film seems more like an outline than like an actual movie.
Yes.
Like an actual developed script. It seems like an outline of plot points.
Yeah.
You know?
That's pretty accurate for this whole genre, I would say. Yes. Yes.
I gotta cash in on this. I bet I could do
Yeah.
this. Oh, and also another Ed Begley appearance. He comes in just to announce that they got Christmas donuts and he's mentioned specifically from Glazed and Confused, and then pauses for laughs. I just thought that was funny. I wonder if he contributed that line.
I wonder if he did too.
Because he really did like oversell it and then give a little pause for laughs. And also what we find out in this time is that Chris Massey and Melissa Joan Hart went to 8th grade together. Melissa Joan Hart's character, whatever, you know what I mean. They were in 8th grade together. So in real life, they are 7 years apart, Priestley being older, 52, and Melissa Joan Hart's 45. So I wonder how she felt about that, knowing that she's already obviously having a little bit of issues with aging.
Yes, I wonder how she felt about that. Yes, that's true.
Because I was like, he looks a lot older than her.
He does.
There's no way they were in 8th grade together. And then, you know what? The fact that he does look a lot older than her, and you think there's no way they were in 8th grade together, adds to like that creepiness of him. You know, like he's lying about this.
Yeah.
Is what you want to say.
Well, because she doesn't remember it. She doesn't rember him being in 8th grade.
No.
And so, yeah, it's like he's trying to gaslight her into believing it.
Like, you don't remember me? Hello, we were in 8th grade together. They're in their 5th, you know.
Yes.
Who even...
Wow, sinister.
I don't know. It is sinister. And only 8th grade? That seems strange, too.
Yeah, what happened? Like, you had to go to prison after that because you're a murderer? Like, what happened?
I feel like most people have, like, you know, at least, like, a middle school experience together, like 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you carry on through high school even. But just one single year, you had one class together?
At least two, yeah, at least 2 grades. Like,
At
and also
least.
he stayed in the town. It's not like he moved away. She stayed in the town. So yeah, it is odd that they suddenly were not schoolmates anymore.
Yeah. And you know what else? It's like he has this thing like, oh, everyone in the neighborhood knows me because I always hang up everyone's Christmas lights. And yet, this is the first time you're doing this to her parents?
Yeah, this guy he's not above board. Not at all.
You know what? He's scary.
He is scary.
I'll say it.
he becomes even scarier. I mean, all the shit. Yeah, it's sinister. It's a very sinister. He's everywhere. Yeah.
I also noted that the pacing of this movie, especially at the beginning, feels a little insane. Or like the editing, maybe. I don't know, but they like kind of hold on certain things for like a little too long. And you're like, what? Are we moving on? Or like, what's happening here? Something was
There's
off.
like awkward pauses. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, and this is like there's a part where they're talking outside of her parents' house and they're staring at each other and smiling, and it like holds on it for too long, like it should have cut
for too long. Something is weird. Yeah.
Something happened. yeah, just stellar filmmaking all around. Yeah.
There maybe also was like an Uncanny Valley thing going on. I don't know if Uncanny Valley is probably the wrong word, but everything outside seemed fake. Like it seemed like it was all indoor sets, but I'm also pretty sure it wasn't. But there was like, there was almost no weather noted. Like there's nothing on the ground, but there's also no like wind or anything like that. Doesn't even seem chilly, even though it's like, you know, is Christmas, winter. They're all wearing coats, but they don't seem like cold at all.
That's true.
And what's interesting is that this was filmed in the summer at Lake Tahoe in Nevada. So I don't know where it's supposed to take place. I don't know if they ever say.
No,
but,
it's in Lake Tahoe. I remember that because I was dying because the parents were so happy that they got like Jimmy Fallon to a book signing, and I'm like, Jimmy Fallon's at a book signing in Lake Tahoe? I mean, maybe, but it seems wild to me. So, yeah, Lake Tahoe.
I don't know, but then isn't that like the desert?
Well, in the summer, it would not have snow. So, yeah, it's absolutely got to be a set, right?
I don't know. That's why the whole thing is strange.
It doesn't add up. Yeah.
Doesn't add up somewhere is what we're getting to. So next thing I got to note. So earlier when her car was towed, she was talking to a like heart-shaped Christmas ornament in a window, as Melissa Joan Hart does. And when she goes to her parents' bookstore, they have the same heart Christmas ornament that she saw earlier. And she tells her dad, like, oh, I'm seeing this Christmas ornament everywhere. And he goes, oh, yeah, they're everywhere this year. They're meant to honor all the healthcare workers and first responders.
A shocking oblique reference to the pandemic. The only one we have.
COVID.
The only one we have in the film. Although
I said, wait. Wait. Does this movie take place in a universe with COVID and nobody's wearing a mask? What are they, all anti-maskers?
Okay, no one's wearing a mask, and also they keep having parties. So the very first scene, right, was at an office party.
Yeah.
But as we will see throughout this film, there's 3 parties. There's 3 parties, and they never show the party because they only have like 2 people in any given scene because of the pandemic. And so it's very awkward.
Because this was filmed in the summer of 2020, right after like COVID was announced. You know, peak COVID, peak lockdown, the summer of 2020 was when this movie was filmed. And actually, Melissa Joan Hart filmed 3 Christmas movies over that summer.
Oh my God.
But this was actually initially written over like January and February of 2020, right before lockdown. And so when they decided they were going to produce this movie, they had to do rewrites of the script. And so they did cut out a sing-along in a bar that was planned. An ugly sweater 5K had to be removed. And they had to like basically redo the script to make it COVID shootable, I guess. So it's narrowed down to only 7 speaking roles in the film. And then you notice throughout the movie, she's always showing up either right before a party, right after a party, or she's somewhere where you can hear a party in the other room, but you don't see the people all the time.
It seems weird that that's the plan, that's what they decided. And then they still mention the fucking pandemic. Like, what are they doing?
They mention it. That was fucking crazy, mentioning it. Because then you gotta, like, reinterpret everything that's happening.
Yes. Why would we do this? Okay, I don't know.
You could have not mentioned it, and then nobody would ever think about it.
Yep.
But they were like, "Oh, we wanted to honor, you know, all the people who were working so hard at the time." Okay.
Which was also so weird because, like, first responders and like healthcare workers have nothing to do with this movie. Like, it's not like about a nurse or something. Like, what are we doing?
They don't introduce any other reason why you would be like specifically honoring those people.
Wow.
So
like
crazy.
Whiplash. This movie there's so much whiplash if you just pay attention.
I was like, wait, what? And mom and dad several times say like, oh, we've been so busy with the bookstore. The bookstore's so busy all the time. We haven't even had time to get a Christmas tree or anything like that, even though we're having like all kinds of things happening at our house for Christmas. We haven't had time to do anything for Christmas because of how busy our bookstore is. Meanwhile, she walks in the bookstore, ain't a soul in sight. It's dead as hell in there. So what's going on there?
No one is anywhere. She goes to a coffee shop, no one's there. Like,
no. And all the extras throughout the whole film are crew members that they use.
Shit.
They reuse.
Okay.
So when the few times that there are like other people, they're crew members.
Wow. Okay. I mean, hey, so, that's, you know,
just interesting. Okay, so we do get a little bit of her and Chris Massey chatting. I think another thing that she goes to where people aren't there yet is like she goes to deliver a gift basket to a store like next door. And
oh yeah,
not only is nobody in there, she just kind of plops down and gets on her laptop.
Okay, so I thought it was, that's so funny because I've seen this movie twice now, and I just thought she was sitting at a coffee shop. But okay, that makes sense because I was like, why does she have the gift basket with her book in it? Okay.
She was going to deliver it for her parents.
Okay, wow, missed that.
But nobody's there. Totally empty, dead inside. And she's just like, well, this is a great time to sit down with my laptop and do stuff in some building that nobody's in, weirdly. But who is there is Chris Massey himself again, was about to play a gig because it turns out he's also a rocker. Mm-hmm. And he was, quote unquote, sound checking, but he's literally acoustic.
And it's like this hipster rendition of, like, I think Deck the Halls, right?
Oh, and you know what? Not only are we both podcasters, but we are both also acoustic musicians. So we
know a thing or two.
We actually know about this.
The true experts to comment on this exact film. Yeah.
Honestly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that was all stupid. Also, you know what? One of the things she does when she sits down is she had asked people to send in, like, their true love stories for her podcast. This chick, first of all, has the ringtones on. But secondly, she has the #1 podcast in America, quote unquote, best podcast of the year, quote unquote, quote unquote. And you're telling me over, like, 4 days, she only gets 3 emails about people's true love stories? And every time she gets one, she's like, I have to stop everything I'm doing right now, put everything down, open my iPad with, like, the attachable keyboard.
And, okay, the love stories are grueling. The love stories are such a painful slog. And we have to watch them.
As they often are.
And we have to watch them. Although I will say that the final one, the one with, like, the soldier, which is also another, like, weird, such a trope in Christmas rom-coms. The woman in that is the star of another Christmas rom-com called Naughty or Nice from 2012. So
incredible. I love that.
Yeah. She does a great job, by the way. She is very it's 10 out of 10. I recommend that one.
Hell yeah. So I just thought all of that was kind of funny and ridiculous too. That entire everything that happens in that sentence. That I said. So when she starts talking to Massey, they chat about their kind of lives, their history, etc. But really the only thing they get to is that they've both, like, traveled the globe basically for their entire life. Nice. He's ex-military. Okay. Also, you know, Christian Republican vibes. And they've been in all the same places, like, at the same time over the decades.
It's very
like,
creepy.
Oh, when were you in the Netherlands? Oh, 98. Oh, me too. I was also in the Netherlands in 98. Oh, when were you in Japan? 2001. I don't know, whatever it is. Oh, I was also in Japan in 2001. They even name, like, a cruise or something that they did. And like, I was also on that cruise. Like, what the hell? This is starting to get really fucking weird because he's already everywhere you are in this town. And now he's saying not only is he everywhere you are in this town in this time, but he's been everywhere you are for your entire life, everywhere around the fucking globe.
Yeah.
Since 8th grade.
Since 8th grade. I mean, who knows what happened after that? I guess he just, like, I don't know, like, slept outside of her window every night or something.
I don't know. But what the hell? This man is scary. Scary.
Yes. Well, and we get the whole backstory of her she wrote for a magazine or something, and then she started, like, a blog. She, like, got broken up with. I don't know. It's too much. But she's like, he makes a comment about it because she said something about, like, tips on how to be single at Christmas or something, and he was like, oh, and she goes, yeah, it made some noise. I'm like, no, it fucking didn't. Like,
no, it didn't. Neither did Christmas Love. Is that what it's called?
Holiday Love.
Neither did Holiday Love.
Like, would anyone in the world ever want to read, like, a breakup blog or, oh god, like, no. The way she talks about it is so corny, too. It's like literally how you talk about love when you're like 5 years old. Yeah, true love is so hard to wrap.
It's true love when it takes a long time.
Oh, yeah. That's like the central conflict or whatever, right?
That comes up later, but we'll get to that. Okay, so also they go to a random pine forest to just literally chop down a tree for Christmas, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
That doesn't happen.
No, there's
right?
no
like
way.
People, there are specifically like pine tree farms.
You
or
could
whatever
not go to a
if you-
forest. That would be like a state trooper would come and fine you. It's
illegal,
wrong.
right? To just be chopping down random trees in the forest.
Yeah.
No. And in this scene also, I thought this was hilarious. So his name is Chris Massey, we've discussed. He gives like the entire etymological breakdown of his name and like how people came to call him Mr. Christmas. Like, you couldn't just...
Yes.
Chris Massey, that's obviously Christmas. But he's like, well, my first name is Christopher. It's my grandfather's name. Massey is a Scottish name. And, you know, Christopher became Chris. Massey became Mass. And everybody started calling me Christmas. It was crazy. You know, and, like, fully gives this full breakdown. Like, what?
And she tries to respond by explaining her name, which is even more psychotic in my mind. And she says something, and I wish I had written it down because she says something that doesn't make any sense to me, and maybe I'm just an idiot. But her name's Natalie in the movie, and so she's like, well, you know, obviously my first name comes because my parents were a little too obsessed with Christmas. Like, she says something like that.
Dude, yeah, I remember that line now that you say that. But
what does that mean?
Yeah, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Is Natalie a Christmas name? What is that? She's like, well, as you know, I'm a Christmas bitch because my name's Natalie. Like, what are we talking about here?
Natalie's sound off. Okay, send me an email. Give me a tweet. I need to know what's the deal with Natalie's and
Okay,
Christmas.
wait. I Googled it. I know. I figured it out. But no one knows this. This is not common knowledge. I cannot. It means birthday of the Lord, I guess.
What?
Yeah, it's Latin.
That is a deep cut ass reference to be just thrown in here. Like,
screenplay writers,
obviously.
apparently professors.
Theologians.
We all know Latin, I guess. Shout out to the Natalies. That's all I have to say.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? I didn't even think about that, but you're super right. That, like, what the
She
fuck?
just says it like, oh yeah, haha, my parents and Christmas, you know.
Anyway, my last name is Davis or whatever it is. I don't remember, but
It's something like that, yeah.
it's just like a plain, like, you know, a normal name. Not Christmas
Not
name.
at all.
Except for Natalie, which obviously.
Obviously.
So they cut down this tree from the fucking woods that looks like it's about 32 feet tall. But when they get it back home, it's just a classic, like, 6-foot tree.
Totally normal.
And also, if you notice, when they're unloading the tree from the truck and taking it in the house, there are 4 Christmas trees fully decked out on their front porch. On their front porch, there are 4. I have a picture, evidence, I'll post with the episode. 4 Christmas trees fully decked out on the front porch already.
They can't get enough. They can't. I remember, okay, the whole reason they went, she's like, I told my parents I would cut them down a Christmas tree. Wouldn't that be an activity you want to do with your family also?
How did she expect? Initially was just kind of walking into the woods with an axe, like hoping for the best, too.
Presumably.
As a single
She'd
woman.
just drag it home. She would just drag it home.
What the fuck? That's at least a 2-person job, if not a several-person job. Like, what?
I don't know.
Every bit of that's insane. I think the next day now, who comes over to deliver food but Chris Massey, who's also a firefighter.
Yeah, what the fuck? Is he a volunteer firefighter? I think he's a volunteer.
I think he's volunteer.
Still insane.
But still, this is about the 6th or 7th job we've seen him have.
Yeah.
So he comes over to deliver food, ? For their party, ? That's, I guess, happening in the other room the entire time.
Yep.
Because he's a volunteer firefighter. I don't know how being a volunteer firefighter adds up to delivering food. I don't know. Idea. But there's also this scene. It's like them starting to fall in love kind of scene, right? But it's just a montage, so you don't hear any of their dialogue because God forbid we know like what caused them to fall in love.
And they're making cocktails, which I want those.
But all they show of him doing is cutting limes the entire time. So it's just a long montage of him standing there cutting limes. with like, you know, music playing, and so you can't hear whatever they're saying.
Yeah.
It's just, he cuts limes the whole time. He cuts like 400 limes. Like, why is he cutting so many limes? It's so weird.
I saw that when I was watching. I was like, do you think they meant this to be a montage, or was this like a scene that was like unusable even for this film? They're like, this is an unusable scene. Let's just make it a montage. I'm not sure.
Oh, this references the ugly sweater 5K we had to cut out. So let's just put music over it. And call it a
I mean,
montage.
honestly, I bet you.
Yeah. So who knows what day it is now? Maybe the next day. They go Christmas shopping and find the shop that makes the glass hearts. Mm-hmm. And who is making the glass hearts? I mean, you can only imagine.
Who could it be?
It's Chris Massey.
Who could it be? There he is.
It's Chris Massey in there making the hearts. Clone Massey, as we're gonna.
Yes, Clone Massey.
Clone Massey's in there making the hearts. What does he say? I only have so many jobs so I can support my art.
Yeah, his art of like only making these hearts. That's all that he makes.
Only making these corny ass glass hearts. And it seems like he makes, because he shows her how to make one or whatever, he makes them like solid. So like, wouldn't that be kind of heavy, solid glass for a tree?
I would think so. I mean, they're thick. They're thick hearts.
They're thick, solid hearts.
Also, this is the second Christmas rom-com this year I've watched that has both astronomy references, because in the scene before at the holiday party, they're like making s'mores and talking about the stars, and a glass blowing montage.
Wow.
So
specific.
Shout out to the Christmas edition, which has both of those elements in it. So anyways, those are tropes apparently. Who knew?
Hell yeah. But yeah, continues to be insane how many things he does. And they plan on going on their first like official date to some like firefighters ball or something. You know what else about Christmas movies that I see sometimes, and I'm really thinking about just one other Christmas movie when I say this, but there's always like, it's Christmas, right? And there are like, let's go to the governor's Christmas ball, and also our neighborhood Christmas ball, and also like all these like huge Christmas events everywhere. I don't know. That's weird to me.
There's lots of them. No, that's a total trope. Like I feel like that happens in like so many of these. Like there's always like a Christmas ball. There's like Christmas extravaganza, like weird, and not just like
something where the entire town is there for some reason,
and also like not like something normal like a parade. Like I feel like it's kind of normal to have like a Christmas parade. Mm-hmm. This is it's something weird like a ball or some sort of like
it's always a
town-wide holiday bash. Like it doesn't make any. No one has those.
That shit is not real.
I don't think so.
Or the mayor's ball, the firefighters ball. What the hell is happening on here with all these balls?
I don't know. They got too much time on their hands. I mean, like he's a volunteer firefighter and he's like making food for people. So like clearly they don't know anything about jobs or work or anything like that.
My dude also is like hardcore grinding those gigs. You know?
Yeah, that's true. He's trying to get it.
He's a gig worker.
I see. He seems to receive no payment for any of this, though. So that's another thing that's curious to me. But all right.
No wonder he's struggling. Broke as hell. Can't get a break. Just trying to be an artist. Aww. Bless his heart. So they schedule a date to go on to this firefighters ball or whatever. And of course, right when she's leaving the house for this, the sis is like, go ahead, there's no way I'm gonna go into labor, my husband's 2 hours away, anyway, please leave. And then like literally as soon as she does half a swivel away, she goes, oh, I'm in labor. Ow.
Yeah. Also their parents are away at what is it again? It's a Christmas ball. It's basically a Christmas ball. I don't know. It's like it was like the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce Christmas party, which sounds like the worst thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Never heard of anything worse.
And they're going to go...
Happening concurrently with the firefighters ball.
Yes, and they're like, oh, well, we hoped you could stay home with your sister. I'm like, well, which is it? Are you obsessed with your daughter getting a husband? or are you going to fuck off to like a Christmas ball? Like, you need to figure it out, people.
To like a boring ass Christmas ball too, not even a cool
Yeah, you guys need to figure it out and either prioritize your daughter getting married and give a shit about your other daughter who's very pregnant, or apparently just go to the Chamber of Commerce and love money, which you obviously do.
And so I thought this was interesting, the timeline of this night, because when she goes into labor, she says her husband is 2 hours away at that time. He gets there presumably 2 hours later, and Melissa Joan Hart goes over to the firefighters' ball, already fully cleaned up, fully no one left in the building. Everything has been, like, maid service has been through, like, it looks pristine in there. So you're telling me in 2 hours the entire shit is over and done and cleaned up?
Yeah, that's it's just they make quick work of it. It's a very boring party and people hate it. So they only go for like an hour.
But of course, he's standing there in the shadows.
Yeah, he's fucking waiting. He's not leaving.
Ready to pop out of the shadows. He couldn't just be like sitting at a table or something. No. She has to walk in the room and go, Chris Massey? Chris Massey, are you here? And then and then he pops out of the shadows and goes, hey, looky lady. You know, like.
Also, he got her a corsage, which is kind of creepy. That's a creepy thing to me.
Creepy. When you're 52,
adults,
yeah, that's
and
creepy.
As grown adults. Don't get someone a corsage. That's a serial killer kind of move. So please.
This isn't fucking prom.
No.
What the hell?
And even in prom, it's
Crazy.
kind of, it's weird. We don't need a corsage.
Do people do corsages? I don't know. I never got one.
That's gotta be like a weird, like, Christian father-daughter dance. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, maybe. Or it feels like, I don't know, it feels like 80s to me or something.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of dated.
It's like outdated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this just in, corsages aren't cool. So we figured that one out.
And I think even at this point, and this is their first date, they're kind of codependent, right? Like they kind of can't go a moment without hanging. Yes. Even when it like super fucks up their day and their life and their job and everything, they're like, no, we need to hang.
Yeah, we gotta hang. They keep referring to this term, which, like, I guess they have no concept of what this term could mean because it doesn't mean what they think it means, but they keep referring to, like, unicorn. And I'm like, y'all, that's not, like, I mean, I know that unicorn might mean, like, one in a lifetime, but unicorn also has a established meaning that, like, I feel like they just have no idea what a unicorn actually is.
Especially in relationships and dating.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, guys, that's not what you're talking about, but that's, like, all I can think about right now. Yeah.
When straight people write a movie and don't know.
I mean, how straight do you have to be to not know that, though? Like, that's the thing. Like, guys, get it together, please.
Consult a gay before you put your scripts out. Come on. So then her boss sends in one of these true love videos to her podcast or whatever and mentions that she realized that true love doesn't happen fast. And all it takes is that one person saying that one line, and suddenly Melissa Joan Hart's character is just all fucking fucked up about, like, thinking she has fake love with this guy. Which, were we even thinking love before this? Like, no, let's be honest. But she's like, our love has to be fake love because it happened so fast. There's no other explanation. It has to be fake love and not true love. And like, can't get over this at all. He comes over to their house for Christmas, and I guess, does he just tell his family to fuck off or what?
I don't know. Like, he has a family.
He's working 74 jobs and hanging out with her the entire time and going to her family Christmas. And I don't know. We never see his family. We get one on the phone one time and that's it.
I mean, he doesn't give a shit. I think he just doesn't. I mean, he has, like, this weird tragic story about, like, his brother dying in, like, a car accident or something horrible. I don't know. That's, like, another thing that always happens in these movies. There's always some, like, horrible past tragedy that's, like, glossed over in, like, one expositional dialogue piece. That's, like, far more interesting and upsetting.
And now his sister is, like, a single mother raising, like, teens who have love issues or whatever. The teens also have love issues. That's another thing I didn't mention. When they're in the weird pine tree forest or whatever, and his, like, niece calls, and he's like, I'm standing right now with Natalie Jones, the podcaster. You may know her podcast, Dear Christmas. She's the expert on love. She talks about it all the time on her podcast. It's like so like stilted.
Yes.
It's literally the most stilted conversation I've ever heard. But can you imagine? Oh my God. Imagine calling someone you know and trust to tell them like to vent about some love situation and they're like, I'm standing with a podcaster. Talk to them on the phone.
What? Yeah, you may have heard of it, youth. Like, yeah, this teenager is like, oh, yes, the podcast. Oh, God.
The #1 podcast in America. I'm so excited to talk to an adult celebrity that I've never heard of. Is she on TikTok? I don't understand. So anyway, he goes to their house for Christmas. Her mom makes them take a picture together, like kind of forces him to hold the baby. The brand new baby that was born literally yesterday and everyone's home from the hospital and everything's good and everything. But that's neither here nor there. But she literally forces him to hold the baby and then like makes them get in for like a picture together with this baby.
Very deeply uncomfortable. You do not ever make anyone hold, especially a newborn baby where like literally their head, they don't have a neck that can support their head. Why are you fucking passing a baby around? That's...
And secondly, it's COVID.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yes, we're honoring the first responders, but breathing on each other and, like, licking each other or whatever, yeah.
And, like, when you have, like, a brand new-ass baby, like, moms are so paranoid because they don't have immune systems yet. So, like, even just, like, the most basic germ can get a newborn baby, like, incredibly ill. So, generally, you say, don't hold my brand-ass, new-ass born baby.
And especially with someone who has 17 jobs. Like, they are seeing so many people, they're licking so many people and breathing on so many people. So,
and is just sort of, he's not family or anything. He's just sort of a strange man who shows up everywhere they go. And they're like, take this baby.
They're too accepting, too trusting.
It's crazy. And then so after that, they go outside to like discuss what just happened with the baby. And he's like, I didn't think it was weird because, you know, in movies, one thing they love to do is be like, men are like such good guys. If they think a baby is cute, that means they want a family or something.
Oh, God.
Like,
oh, yep.
Isn't that like such a thing? Like as soon as a man says like a baby is cute, then women get like hearts in their eyes and like, oh, I'm picturing our family together. Even though these people are in their 50s.
Yeah, calm down.
It's like,
calm down, guys.
We're beyond this.
We're past it.
Whatever. But anyway, I think the notion that she had that like their love couldn't be true love because it happened so quickly comes up in this conversation. And he mentions that he actually had a crush on her since 8th grade and that it actually wasn't a quick love. He actually was pretty much implying that he expected her to move here. And doesn't he like have a ring with him?
Oh,
and
shit.
everything?
I think it's something
he puts a ring like
that.
in the glove box when he like goes to get in the truck and drive away. Has a ring with him, expects her to move here. They literally met a handful of days ago and they haven't even hugged, kissed, anything yet. Mm-mm. Nothing. And they're discussing love.
Yeah.
They literally didn't even really go on a date. They showed up to this ball hours late after the date was supposed to even happen.
They haven't gone on a single date. That doesn't even really count. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's concerning. Everyone should be deeply concerned, but they're just thrilled.
And he's stalking her because he shows
everywhere.
Up every place that she is. Why is love even in the conversation at this point? You know? It was so psychotic. Mm-hmm. They have nothing in common even. What do they even have in common? They don't talk about anything besides what they did 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago.
What they have in common is they've been to a lot of the same places at the same time. So I don't know about you, but that's a big sign of compatibility. So hello.
You know what it is? He listens to her podcast.
Oh, see, okay, listen, big deal. That's a big one. That's it.
That actually, and when somebody says, I listen to your podcast, I actually get really horny and fall in love, is actually what happens.
It's a lot likelier than you might think, you know? Like, that's a big, if someone's a podcaster, just say you listen to her podcast, and they might get with you. It could be a thing. because he does say that, and it's just... That's the secret.
Oh my God. He makes references to stuff that she said on her podcast. Like, he is really listening.
That's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. She got horny and fell in love. It could happen to any of us.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true love.
Oh my God,
that's the difference
so
between
funny.
regular love and true
You know
love.
what? It's true love. When you listen to someone's podcast, that's
Yep.
true love. When you tell them about it, that's actually truer love. And please give my podcast a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. So this is like a fight that they have, and he leaves all dejected, and they're having their first fight.
Aww.
Haven't had their first date or their first kiss or anything else, but they are having their
That's
first
healthy,
fight.
right? That's healthy.
So, I do think that's healthy, actually. So she kind of has this idea that, like, the only way that I could think that our love is real is if I find my 8th grade journal and find his name inside of it in a heart. That's the only thing that's going to sell me on that our love is real, because then I'll know that love does take time.
Which, like, odds are high, because every boy that she went to school with is probably written in that journal, so.
And, like, how populated do you think her school was? We've seen the size of her house. She probably went to private school. It was probably like 100 kids in the whole school. And, you know, when you break that down by grades,
it's Lake Tahoe.
20
also.
to 30 people in 8th grade?
Yeah, and Lake Tahoe is pretty small, right? It's like a small town.
So the way she's flying through boys in this journal, every boy's bound to be in there at some point, right?
Yeah.
So she previously couldn't find her 8th grade journal, but what her Alzheimer's having father did was wrap her own journal and give it to her as an early Christmas
Damn,
present.
he lucked out. That guy was like, hell yeah, I didn't get any presents for her. I have this one.
I didn't have to spend any money. Fuck yeah. It's the thought that counts. So she does obviously find his name in there with a little heart or whatever the fuck.
It's not as grand a reveal as you would hope, because
No.
she's already been going through all these journals, and it's just boys, just the boys.
In fact, you could miss it if you weren't looking for
Literally.
about 2 seconds.
Yes.
So then she has to do her live podcast.
Of course.
And she uses that opportunity first of all, she's doing her live podcast and she's getting texts while she's doing it, checking the texts. You're on a live podcast reading your texts.
You know, why not? You know?
And then doing Lamaze breathing.
That's the thing. I'm like, no, this is live. You can't edit this shit. Like, people are hearing it right now.
Her family, oh, what a supportive family, all huddled up in the living room, just listening to her live podcast of her sitting there doing Lamaze and reading texts.
And, like,
on Christmas.
She's, like, not doing well, and they're like, oh, God, she's not doing well. Like, they're just, it's, the cringe is so strong. Yeah.
So the sis goes, I've got this, and just texts her, like, he who or whatever it is to make her think of Lamaze breathing.
And then she does it. She does a whole demonstration.
Yeah, just incredible. And then what else she does on her podcast is reveal her undying love, or profess it to this man, Chris Massey, Mr. Christmas himself. Mm-hmm. Of course he's listening because he's horny for her still, even though she broke his heart. He comes over, gives her like a fucked up looking glass unicorn with a ring on its head.
Yes.
He gives her a ring. Okay. This is Red Flag's tweet. Red Flag's tweet.
Yeah. It is.
She's getting a ring from this man before she gets her first kiss, by the way. It's fucking insane. What?
It's psychotic. Stop.
And what does he say? Something like, don't worry, it's not an engagement ring. It just shows that I want to spend time with you, or something like that. I forget exactly what he says, but
even worse.
Like something like that.
Like an engagement ring would be almost less weird at that point. I don't know. Like, if someone would give you a ring and they have to clarify, don't worry, it's not an engagement ring. It's just, no. You never give anyone a ring. The only reason you would is because of that. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm. Unless you've previously discussed, my birthday's coming up, I like this one ring or something like that.
Sure.
I guess. But that would be the only other. You don't randomly give someone a ring that you're dating and or hoping to date.
Yeah.
There are implications.
Which he knew because he prefaces it saying, don't worry, it's not an engagement ring.
And by the way, she's not worried one
She's
bit.
not worried.
Doesn't have an ounce of fear in
I think
her
that was
throughout this whole thing.
I think that line was meant for us, the audience, because we're paralyzed in fear at this point. So we need to be reassured.
After everything we've witnessed with this man,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm paralyzed with fear just thinking about it. Yeah.
Yes, not safe. Not a safe environment.
Oh my God, get out. Red flags. Bye-bye, Hong Kong. Wee wee.
Yep.
But after she gets the ring, they finally do kiss, and I believe that's roll creds on the kiss.
That's it. And I don't remember at what point she says this line, but I do have this line like written in my notes.
Uh-huh.
You're the only world I want to live in. That was said at one point.
She does say that. I think that's in that last scene with the glass unicorn.
Yeah, that was said. I don't even know why. Have we referenced like worlds and things? It was a bizarre line out of left field. So
absolutely out of left field. Absolutely strange thing to say. You're the only world I want to live in.
I don't know what that means.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah. What? Hold on. What? What does that mean?
Like at that point, I'd be like, "Oh shit! No, sorry. What I meant to say was like, oh, that came out fucked up. Let me try again."
Yeah. I tried to say something cute. It came out fucked up. Let me try a different thing. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Is this another, like, obviously Natalie is related to Christmas thing? Like, are we missing some reference here? Or, like, what?
I don't know. Is it, like...
You're the only world I want to live in? That I want to live in, not
Did
with.
Did they talk about that? Like, I'm like, is this an astronomy thing? Like, they talked about astronomy for one hot second?
Maybe.
I don't fucking know.
But even still, like, what? I want to live in?
It's bad. No.
Oh, and have to reiterate, the people who wrote this teach screenwriting professionally.
That's it. They know all the secrets and they teach all the secrets.
Just so funny when you break it down. Okay, so we've rolled the damn creds.
We made it.
We didn't miss anything, right? We got it all.
I think we got everything. I mean, everything that I have notes on. So yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so we got to rate this bad boy out of 5. So what are you thinking out of 5?
Okay, what's our criteria? Because, like, for me, like, this is hitting a lot of notes. It's hitting a lot of the Christmas rom-com notes, but it's not, like, sublime batshit, so I would say 4 out of 5, but, like, my rating is very unique to, like, this genre, but I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. Like, this is a watchable one. You're gonna have a lot of fun. Watch it with a crowd of your loved ones and just riff the shit out of it.
Hell yeah. Okay, so obviously it's a fluff piece. It's not like, this isn't like a Haneke or something.
Oscar winner or anything like that. No.
So going on that scale, and actually I'm really glad that we did this because we haven't done like just a goof movie in such a long time on pod, and so I'm really happy to do this. But so wild card, I'm also gonna go 4 out of 5.
Hell yeah. Wow, knocking it out of the park with this one.
I was hooting and hollering. I said, Chris Massey? Oh my God. It's almost like mid-sized sedan of the Christmas rom-coms.
It is.
And, I mean, there's no shortage. We've been over it of like insane things, but also just it was still kind of pleasant to watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't too annoying where you're like pissed off or like angry, or I get mad at these types of movies for being too toxically straight a lot. And this wasn't queer at all.
Right.
Besides mentioning unicorns and pegging. But it didn't feel that toxic, only a little, but some of them are really bad with it.
Yes.
So it wasn't so bad that it, upset me.
Okay, that's good.
The premise alone made me laugh, and for all those reasons, I give it 4 stars.
Good. I mean, how could, podcast, hello, like, so topical.
Hello.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yes. Okay. Check mark. Ed Begley Jr.
Right.
Clocking in. I don't even care. Fun. Yeah.
I have seen another Melissa Joan Hart Christmas rom-com, but she's been in so many, but I think the only other one I've seen it's called A Very Nutty Christmas.
I think that was one of the ones that the same screenwriters wrote.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, well.
It is, yeah.
That's a nutcracker who comes to life for
Hell
Christmas
yeah.
and they fall in love. So it's a pretty wonderful one.
I love that. Hell yeah. So we both give it 4 out of 5 and recommend. Yeah. Watch this for your holiday time.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit.
All right, so in this part of the pod, we just go off about whatever else we've been watching, movies, shows, whatever. So what else have you been watching lately?
A lot of Christmas rom-coms, I'll tell you that much.
Hell yeah. 'Tis the season, as they say.
'Tis the season. But much like Dear Christmas, I can't remember most of their names. So I mentioned Christmas Edition. That was one I watched recently. And Christmas Edition was shocking because it's still a bad Christmas rom-com, but it had two adults who are mature and want the best for each other. I've never seen that in a Christmas rom-com in my entire life.
Wow.
So,
okay.
But it was still kind of fun to riff on and make fun of. So that was a good one. Recommend that. I saw one that was one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life. And this was unfortunately a Christian Christmas rom-com. And it's called The Farmer and the Belle Saving Santaland.
Wow, interesting.
That one's really just a horror, but I would recommend it if you're looking to like be shocked and see like Bible verses everywhere and like a pastor and all that shit. So that one was good. I recently watched actually let's completely turn away from Christmas rom-com. I watched Caveat, which is a horror movie. Came out end of last year, and I want to say it's Irish. I think it's an Irish movie, and it was absolutely scary. Scared the shit out of me, and it's on Shudder, and most horror movies don't really scare me because I watch them all the time. This movie freaked me the fuck out, so I recommend it.
Ooh, I'm looking at the poster right now. It looks pretty
very
crazy.
Scary with the weird little rabbit guy. It's a very scary, it's very like low budget.
Oh, it's actually already on my watch list.
Oh, hell yeah. Wow. Okay. Just flip it up there.
Apparently I heard of it at some point.
It's really kind of a fucked up little movie and I was scared. So I recommend that one.
Hell yeah. Is that it?
I mean, I probably watched more, but which I've already told you before that this past weekend, I was devoting my life to a extreme remote immersive horror role-playing experience, and so literally all that I'm thinking of is that, which is not watchable anywhere. So like that took up all my bandwidth, and that was like a 3-day experience. So that's all that's in my brain besides those 3 movies that I could think of.
Okay, hell yeah. All right, for me, I got a couple things. I watched actually some really good shit. I watched Dogtooth, the Yorgos Lanthimos movie from 2009. Nice. That was... Have you seen it?
No.
You might like it. It's about like some parents who have some adult children that have lived in their house their entire life. And the parents... I saw somebody refer to it as like a reference to homeschooling, which I thought was an interesting interpretation. But like the parents teach their kids all this crazy shit. It's an abusive situation, but like they teach them that the outside world is so dangerous. They can't leave the house unless they're in a car, which they never are because they don't know how to drive. They teach them like false definitions for words.
Oh,
it's
shit.
like it's really fucked up and crazy and creative and beautiful and violent, and
that sounds great. And it's on Tubi.
Really enjoyed
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, Dogtooth. Yeah. And have you seen any other Yorgos Lanthimos movies? He did Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster and The Favorite.
So I've been wanting to see Killing of Sacred Deer. I just hear that it's very like sad and kind of fucked up. So I need to be in the right, but that's on my list. I really need to watch that one and I have not.
We did an episode on that one actually. It's really good. Yeah. I might like Dogtooth a little better.
Okay.
Dogtooth is a little, I mean, they're both like really good and really crazy, but Dogtooth is a little more holy. I don't know. It's a little more artistic.
Okay.
Fully from top to bottom. Whereas I felt like Killing of a Sacred Deer had like ebbs and flows, you know?
Okay.
Dogtooth is more solid T to
Oh,
B.
sweet. Okay.
And that's just my opinion, but
Yeah.
like Killing of a Sacred Deer has some really insane parts, but they're like, it's ebbs and flows because then there's some lulls in between and some things I didn't like in between. Dogtooth I liked all the way through. Yeah, that was just really cool movie. I watched the Scorcese movie, Scorcese, putting a little flair on it, After Hours.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that. I think I have like a mental block against Scorsese.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it's like because of the type of people that often love his movies or the type of movies he's done lately or what, but I have some kind of notion that like, oh, it's just going to be like a bro movie that like, it's not my vibe or whatever. But I have to admit, he does have some good shit.
He does.
And After Hours is actually really good. And you hate to admit it. But it's actually really good. And it's just like one night in this guy's life. One of those like everything's going wrong and this night is kind of endless type movies. Maybe the prototype for those type of movies. But it was just like really well done and stressful and great. After Hours.
Hell
Very
yeah.
good. I watched Margot at the Wedding, which is a Noah Baumbach film. I think also from like the 2000s, somewhere like 2007 or something. It has Nicole Kidman and Jennifer Jason Leigh and Jack Black.
Oh, shit. Okay.
They're all very good in it. I'm getting really into Noah Baumbach. I've been going through his filmography, and you know what? I like his shit. It's good. I really liked that movie, too. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. I don't know. I guess I also have a predisposition against wedding movies, but it's actually not really about a wedding.
Okay.
So
Nice. The best kind. Okay.
just in the title. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that movie, Margot at the Wedding. All right, I got two more.
All right.
I watched Gabriel with Rory Culkin.
Okay.
That one, also better than I expected. You know what? That's my theme for this one, better than I expected. It's kind of, Rory Culkin plays like a mentally unwell boy who's maybe recently released from a mental hospital and hyper focused on getting his ex-girlfriend to like date him. Like that's going to be the thing that fixes him and makes him better. So the whole movie is his journey trying to get this woman back in his life or whatever. But he's really good in it, and there's some really like emotional scenes, and I thought it was going to be like probably bad taste, corny movie, but it actually was pretty good. So that was cool. Gabriel. And then I just have a little short, which I really liked, called Chuck's Chicken, directed by this guy, Joey Izzo, who I've talked about some of his shorts on pod before. I don't know if I even want to give the plot away. I think it looks really cool. The story's really cool. And there's almost zero dialogue in it, which I always think is so fascinating that you can make a whole story with almost no speaking in it. I think is very cool and commendable. So that's actually an early work by Joey Izzo. I think it's one of his earlier films, and it's very cool. I liked it. Chuck's Chicken. And that's all my After Darks for this week.
Nice.
But a handful of good shit.
It's a lot. Yeah, I just saw Scorsese. I had never seen Shutter Island, and I saw that one a couple weeks ago. So
does it hold up? I wonder about that one.
So I kind of watched it after watching Caveat, because Caveat kind of like fucks with you a little psychologically, and so like Shutter Island like was kind of like a follow up because I'd never seen it. It's like it's the problem is it's like kind of very obvious. Like you kind of understand pretty quickly. You're like, well, I know that things are not as they seem, and I know pretty much how they're not as they seem. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a really well made movie, but I don't know. I didn't love it, I guess. You know, I wasn't mad at it, but it's also long as fuck, dude. Like it is such a long movie.
Really? Oh, over 2 hours.
Yes.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
So I don't know if I like recommend a rewatch, to be honest with you, just because it's too fucking long.
I saw that movie in theaters.
Okay.
So, and I've never seen it again.
Yeah.
So, at least not that I remember. But I remember being totally taken by the twist. But that also was 2010. So I was a young baby.
Yeah. You'd probably be like, I already know this. I can spot the smile. Well, I guess you literally do because you've already seen it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at Scorsese's filmography currently, and I think I've really only seen 5 of his movies.
Okay.
Oh, 6, because I watched a short film that he did too. I did like the short I watched of his was called The Big Shave. It's like 5 minutes. It's very short, but it's just a guy shaving basically his face off.
Oh God, okay.
It's kind of like gory and gruesome to watch, but it's fun to watch. And I like watching older shorts. I think they did. It was from 1967, so it's very old short. They just, I don't know. There's a cool vibe to them.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Watching shorts that old. Yeah, I did like that. I've seen The Departed. I remember liking that. I only saw it in theaters, I think. I've seen Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, and Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street I also only saw in theaters. I don't remember loving that one as much, but it's also a topic that's boring to me.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I've seen that many. I'm trying to think. Like, I've seen...
Wolf of Wall Street is 3 hours? Oh my God.
Jeez, his stuff is always so fucking long. It's too long.
After Hours that I mentioned, 97 minutes.
Okay, there we go.
You're out.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. But sorry, what were you going to say?
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
I've seen. I liked Goodfellas. Goodfellas. It was good. But yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like usually just not kind of my scene. The stuff he does. Like he's a great filmmaker. Like, but it's just not really my bag. You know.
Yeah, and I guess also in some ways, like if you're trying to go back and watch some of the stuff he did, like Taxi Driver, for instance, like at this point you're going to be like, that's not as impressive, right? Because we've seen so many movies like that are maybe even better, nowadays. But like you kind of have to put it in context, like that type of movie wasn't really around that much back then and not done in the same way and whatever. So you can kind of see how the influence has come down the line or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't feel that motivated to watch through his filmography in any way, but I did really like After Hours. So, I mean, Taxi Driver's fine too. It's cool.
Yeah.
Don't cancel me for Film Bros. That's the #1 Film Bro movie. So, anyway, Scorsese, check him out.
I don't know. You ever heard of him? A little filmmaker called Martin Scorsese.
So, Ariel, what do you got to plug? Where can people find you, etc.?
I guess I can plug my podcast, my #1 in the country podcast, Holiday Love. Not Your Final Girl. It's about horror movies, it's actually not a huge left turn from Christmas rom-coms because they're kind of horror movies. So
yeah, this one was absolutely a horror movie. So
honestly, most of them are. So completely makes sense in the same universe. We talk about me and my co-host Candace. We talk about horror movies. We usually interview cool people. Just listen to it. I almost said watch it. Fuck. So good. So good at these plugs. And so you can find that you can do Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's NYFG Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and it's Not Your Final Girl on Facebook. That's kind of where you can, I guess, find us.
Do you want to plug your music at all? Ariel's a rocker.
Oh, that's true. I'm on Bandcamp. It's like arieldyermusic.bandcamp.com or something like that. And that's
figure it out.
arielDyer.bandcamp.com. There we go. Did it. I just looked at it. That's it.
Nice.
That's all.
All right. Hell yeah. That's all for the up then. So thanks for joining me and taking me on this ride. And I guess I'll do a tiny plug that if you liked this, I'm going to do another holiday movie with Ariel for the Patreon. So
yes,
check out that shit. Okay.
fancy Patreon.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.